And tonight we are discussing the big functions that usher us into marriage. Those are the introductions, the hinjira, the nikah, the weddings, and we've put a lot of money in these functions, and of course, to some extent, they have left us in debts, and the aftermath of these functions tends not to be good. Couples divorce, couples separate out of unnecessary stuff. You find people are indebted.
It's a lot of regret.
It is a lot of regret. And so we are asking ourselves, is it really something that we have to fight to be part of? Is it something that we have to do? Is it a must or not? Are these functions a yes or no? And if they are a yes, then why? And if they are a no, then why? Okay? Then we mind about the future after these functions. Remember, you stayed too. At first, you were inviting everybody on board. You invited people to come attend your meetings. You even invited people from up country to come and be part of the function. Now, the day you finish this function, you stay too. But do we think about that life after these functions? Do we think about what will come after we have completed these functions? Is it good? Do you feel those who have passed through all this, have they really motivated you to do it? You who hasn't done it? Are you motivated, or you feel it is not something to be to die for? And so would like to know whether these big functions are a yes or a no. And with me, I have a relationship coach and a marriage counselor, and she also works with the Parents Club, and she's also the founder of Black is Beauty campaign. She's called Elma Navulime. And Elma, when we talk of these functions, people tend to think that they are doing it for the better of their lives, which is fine. But they don't want advice to some extent. Someone is telling you he or she wants to get married, she wants to wed, but doesn't mind where the money is coming from. Do people think about what is really bringing this money on table? Or they just want to follow the trend of getting married?
People just want to follow the trend. Actually, we also have friends around who act as cheerleaders. They cheer up and they be like, oh, when are you getting married? We shall contribute, Because you have a friend called Chris, and he has been alone for a good time, and you people think Chris should be married. So you'd be like, Chris, why don't you get married? We shall contribute. So Chris sits down with a pen and writes people he thinks he should send wedding messages to come for the meetings. He makes a big list because people have been promising. So he thinks, in reality, you're going to contribute. Yet reality is different from promises. Yes, many will promise, many will pledge, but will they fulfill? Will they fulfill? You realize that those pledges don't even matter. They don't matter. If people were to write the number of pledges they get for their big days, God, they would have billions of money. If that was the reality. But realize that you get in pledges, you have 80 millions. In reality,
you have 400,000.
400. You.
They pledge more than
they pledge
in cash.
They pledge more, yet they won't even give you.
Yeah.
And those who will try, someone will pledge 500, they will give you 50,000 or 100,000.
Somebody even pledges a cow, but by the time you're wedding, even
the cow is nowhere to be seen. And actually, the pressure comes in when people ask you. There is a wedding I was at. It was my brother's wedding. They made a budget, and people. Priska is like, I'll buy the cow. So they take the cow. So they were taking the things that were around, and the guy was like, there was like, no, don't talk about meat and the cow. Those ones we have, okay. So no one was minding about the cow. So the day comes, when tomorrow is the day, the big day, introduction day. We sit with the Mugole himself. We ask him, so where are we getting the meat and the cow? You say the meat is covered and the cow is covered. He's like, okay, let us call him. He promised, where? Because we're having that meeting at 11 p.m. at night. In the morning, we are supposed to start the journey, to go for the introduction. And this man is still telling us that let me call. When will you understand? Like, at what time should you give up and be like, I was lied to? So just imagine the pressure. So and someone wrote miscellaneous, let's say 3 a.m. and it's even nowhere because your budget was too big that you didn't even have any money on the side to keep. So everyone is minding the fuel they are going to put in their car and how they are going to look at that last moment. No one is willing to give you extra cash.
So a person out there would also ask, if a person who pledges is your person, we tend to call them our personal persons. If the person pledges and he doesn't respect the pledge, what do you need to do?
Nothing. Priska, haven't you made promises and failed? Not because you don't want, but because situations have forced you not to.
Maybe financial
situations can come in and you feel your hands are tied. As much as you wish to give, your heart is willing, but your hands can't.
So in this place, what would people do in case that friends might not?
What people should do? If Elma and Chris want to make a wedding or an introduction, let them sit by themselves and talk reality. How much money do we have to start with? How much, before you ask for people's contribution, you yourself, you need to be prepared. You yourself, you need to save for your big day before you start expecting from people. The problem comes in because you start with 0. Yeah. So it's us to start with the first 100 shilling to put in that pocket, which was empty. So have something on you. Have you yourself, you should have half of your budget before you start giving us budgets.
Emma, talk about people writing these pledge lists and they're like, they first put covered on some items.
Yeah, actually.
Now, I've heard somebody say it is a trick because people are complaining that they can't be the ones getting for you a gown, yet you have a husband who is going to marry you, who is going to wed you. You're telling us that you as a bride, you don't have a tie, okay? Or a bow tie, or you don't have a suit, and you expect people to shoes, as if people are going to wed on your behalf, Then so people put they now cover it. It is called covered.
Even the cheap things in that budget, they will be covered.
So at the end of the day, you find in reality they were not covered. So once you pledge, once you contribute, they will cover these things. Okay, so. What do we need to know that at least this is for a bride to be, this is for the groom to be? You know that these are yours. You don't have to request people to pledge for you.
Why should they even be on the budget?
You as a friend?
Why should your makeup be on the budget? You as the bride.
True.
Why should it be on the budget? You're already asking for a lot. That is why we're having stories of people who come up and your husband's friend comes to you without fear, he asks you out. Because even after when people contribute a lot, there is that one person who will contribute a lot. And you'll be like, wow, my best man contributed a lot. And you sit your wife down and you'll be like, Priska, this is my brother. And you'll be like, this is my brother. If he ever asks for anything, he was there. If it wasn't for him, this wedding shouldn't have happened. So before you know it, Priska is loving the best man. Because the best man thinks they've given in a lot. You need to pay them somehow. So yet in reality, this is your person. No one is sleeping with your wife. Why are we paying for you the hotel?
Where the honeymoon is going to be, or the venue?
Where the honeymoon is going to be.
By the way, they also press it on the list.
Yeah, why are we paying for you the hotel? Like reality. Why?
So in reality, what would we contribute